Everyone wants to hire top performers, but if you're going to hire them and then do a bad job managing and leading them so they can't do their best work and then they quit, it's the fastest way to light a dump truck full of money on fire in your business. It's crazy expensive and it'll do a ton of damage to your culture as well. So in this video, I'm going to give you a few quick leadership principles to make sure that your talent stays engaged. And if you're a first-time manager, you're definitely going to want to take out a pen and take some notes. So the biggest mindset shift that you need to have right now as a leader or a manager of people, your job is not to be the best specialist. Just because you're leading a team of people writing code, you don't have to write better code or more advanced stuff than they do. Your job is supporting humans who are doing work. I'm going to say that again. Your job is supporting humans who are doing work. So you don't have to be better than them, but what you do have to do is get them to be the best versions of themselves. You are now a coach, so you're going to have to get in the coaching mindset and think about what that means. If you're coaching a sports team, you know how the points are scored, you know how the plays are run, you know which players are good and which players need to work on running a little faster or passing the ball a little bit better. Take that mindset and apply it to the jobs of the people that you're leading. That is your role. You need to get them to be the best versions of themselves in their jobs, and when they do that, you will be able to thrive. The second mindset shift, and this sometimes takes a couple of months to figure out, leadership, if you're doing it right, takes both time and effort, and those two things are different. The worst leaders I've ever seen, they don't give it any time or any effort. And you'll see this, they're like canceling one-on-ones, they're making them short, 15 minutes, no process, just mailing it in. Don't be that person, right? Because you got to remember, your job as a leader, it's about the human, not about the projects and the meetings and the work. All of that stuff is a second order outcome from managing and leading the human being. So to do that well, you have to put in time, put in effort, and pay attention. Think about a couple of these questions I'm about to ask you. If you got someone on your team, how are they feeling this week? Like, do you have an answer? Really ponder it for a minute. Like, the last time you talked to them, how did they sound? Do you talk to them enough where you can tell the difference in how they sound based on the conversations you have, right? Like, are they happy? Are they feeling challenged? Are they bored? Are they overwhelmed? Like, you should know their emotions and know how they show up and have that stuff on tap. I facilitate this from a tactical standpoint with an email weekly update. So every Friday, everyone on my team, I literally have them tell me just like, how you feeling about work, scale of 1 to 5, and why. And then I know, like, first thing, either Friday afternoon or first thing Monday morning, I can jump on the phone and talk to someone and make sure that they're doing okay, right? So like, you got to build these rhythms in, but it can't happen without time and effort. So ideally, you're going to block a couple of hours per week per team member to put the cycles in to actually manage the human beings. The third one, and the people that know me well will watch this video and laugh because my nickname in my company is the Writer Downer. But I'll tell you this, you gotta write stuff down because you simply cannot remember it all. Think about like the depth of what we're trying to accomplish here, especially if you got 4, 5, 6, 7 direct reports. If you got more than 7, probably should have a conversation with somebody, right? But even if you have 5 or 6 direct reports, like, you can't remember all the things. So the way that I do this, it's not some fancy software. I literally just open up like Notepad and I save a document for everybody on my team, you know? So I've got Cooper and Jasmine and Nicole and all the different people who are on my team, and I just keep lists, right? Like, what are the things I want to talk about on our next one-on-one? What are the opportunities that I have to coach them up on a piece of work that they were doing? What training do I need to produce in order to help them step up their game and become the best version of themselves? You won't remember all that stuff if you don't write it down throughout the week or two in between the one-on-ones, right? So just have the set of documents, put them in a folder, put it on your desktop, open it up, write it down, and you will never again roll into a one-on-one being like, oh man, what do you want to talk about, right? Like, that shouldn't be a thing. Like, they should have a list, you should have a list. But again, you have to build that rhythm into the way that you do your work every day. Speaking of writing things down, if you process things better when they're written the same way I do, that's awesome. In the description of this video, there's a link to get on my newsletter. Fill it out, put your email address in. I will give you a written version of everything I'm talking about with all the templates, all the talking points right in your inbox. So get in there. All right, the last mindset shift, and this is the scariest, most terrifying one out of anything we've talked about. You got to ask for feedback, but really what that means is you have to build a culture and a relationship with the people on your team where they're comfortable giving you feedback, right? Because like, new managers, sometimes they get all riled up and they're like, oh, I'm going to give everyone all this feedback and we're going to do all this crazy stuff. And like, that's cool, but you need to be also the receiver of some constructive criticism sometimes. And you need to empower your direct reports and make an environment of like enough psychological safety so they know that they can criticize you in a constructive way without getting fired. And a lot of people don't feel that way. And sometimes you're going to have to give them explicit permission to give you feedback. I want you to nitpick me. I want you to say whatever the thing you're thinking that you don't think is important enough to say. That's the thing that I need to hear. So please tell me, right? Feedback is a two-way street. And the way that I make sure that this happens in my management cadence is every single one-on-one concludes the final 10 minutes with feedback in both directions, and it is not optional, right? So the expectation is that every single one-on-one, everyone on my team is going to tell me two things. What's one thing that I did since the last time we met that they loved, and what's something that I did or that I could do to help me get to the next level. And then after they've given me that feedback, I will answer the same questions about them. And the expectation is that we just do it every single meeting. And that way it takes the pressure off and we never skip a one-on-one. So simple as that. Ask for feedback, build the environment where you can get it, and then you will learn what you need to do to become a better version of yourself so you can lead your team more effectively. So if this sounds like a lot of work and I'm just blazing through it at lightning speed, that's because it's a lot of work and I just blazed through it at lightning speed. So if you want a written version of this so you can process it and install it into your business, hit the link in the description, get on my newsletter. I'm going to write an issue that goes with this video. It's going to go through the one-on-one process and all of these principles so you can copy, paste, steal, do your thing, lead your people to greatness. It's going to be awesome. Hit the link, get in there. Appreciate you guys. See you next week.